Julie Dorf is the moderator of this panel, and she founded the International Gay and Lesbian Human Rights Commission and directed it from 1990 to 2000. She's been instrumental in helping to forge alliances and partnerships across the globe on human rights issues, especially LGBT rights. Currently, Julie is the senior advisor to the Council on Global Equality, which has graciously helped to convene this panel. She really is an expert in the field, and we're grateful she's here with us today. So please welcome our panelists, our moderator, Julie Dorf.
All right. Thank you so much, Kate. Can you hear me? Am I on? There we go. And I want to particularly thank Kate and thank George Walker of the Gay and Lesbian Leadership Institute for asking the Council for Global Equality once again to help put together this international panel. We really appreciate our institutional collaboration, so thank you very much for that. And welcome everybody to the follow-up panel of the mayor's from the mayor's words. And I want to especially have a warm welcome to the about a dozen of you who have traveled from outside of the United States to be here at this conference. We know that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of openly gay elected and appointed officials outside of the United States who couldn't make it today, so we're really glad for those of you who have. So thank you. The purpose of this panel is to really discuss how all of you as elected and appointed officials, as well as those of you in civil society, can promote equality not just at home but also abroad from the various levels and positions of government that you hold. There are a myriad of ways, both large and small, to address global LGBT issues. And we want you to leave here today feeling not only inspired to do that, but with some real concrete ideas about how. So because we are short on time, I'm going to dive right into introducing you all and to questions. But first, I've been asked to have you silence your cell phones and hold your questions, but do have some, because we will have a question and answer period at the end of the discussion. So in addition to Mayor Wowereit and former Congressman Jim Kolbe, on our panel, I guess we'll go this way, we have former Ambassador Mike Guest, my colleague at the Council for Global Equality, and I guess I should also just mention Mark Bromley, our chair from the Council for Global Equality, is also here in the audience. Mike has a really incredible 26-year career in the U.S. State Department. He's most known in our community as the openly gay U.S. ambassador who was actually Senate confirmed, which we're so proud of. And he is the current senior advisor, along with myself, with the council. Next to him, who's traveled from the UK, we appreciate so much, is Philippa, who was in the State Department equivalent in the United Kingdom, the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, and before that in the Home Office. She's retired now, but in her former position with the FCO, she was the Director of Global Issues, which included oversight around human rights issues. And then lastly, but always my pleasure to introduce, is my friend Cary Johnson. It's always fun, having been the founder of the International Gay and Lesbian Human Rights Commission, to be so happy about the current able and fabulous executive director who leads the organization so well and has really deep experience working for 2 decades in Africa on human rights issues. So I think I'm going to start, Cary, with you and Mike. You know, this is a group of elected and appointed officials whose charge is to care about their local or their domestic constituencies. You know, why should they care about what's going on out there in the world, and what does it matter?
Well, I think I'd start by saying it matters because there's a very important role for elected officials at all levels to play. I mean, we know that the United States plays an extremely important role, both as a bilateral donor. We know that over the course of the next 5 years, the United States is going to give something like $45 billion in aid simply for HIV/AIDS programs around the world, and that's just a small piece of the funding. And the United States plays an important moral role. Many of the laws that remain in place around the world that are used to victimize and criminalize our brothers and sisters, LGBT people, were put in place, left in place by colonial legacies. And though most of those were put in place by British colonial legacy, the United States also has a role to play in many of the countries in which we still have very strong concerns. And I would just add that we have become extremely aware recently of the increasing role of the U.S. Evangelical right and the role that conservative forces here in the United States are playing in exporting homophobia to different countries around the world, to Uganda, to Jamaica, to Latvia, to the Philippines. And your constituents and the people that you work with in your states, in your cities, need to know what the role of the churches and the religious groups that in your communities are playing, not just here in the United States in fighting Proposition 8 and in the things that we care so deeply about, but also in exporting very violent homophobic discourse to other parts of the world.
Cary has said virtually everything, but let me just add a particular point of view on this. I believe very strongly that our country should be the country we claim to be, and that when we are taught as children to believe in equality, to believe in fair-mindedness, to believe in respect for other individuals and for individual rights, that we should practice it, and we should practice it at every level, and we should hold our country accountable to those messages. I don't think we've done a very good job of that as a community, and sometimes we are so focused on our own inadequacies within the LGBT community and the movement, particularly within the problems that exist on Capitol Hill that Tammy Baldwin can tell us about, with laws that should have passed a long time ago that haven't, that we forget to look beyond our borders and realize that when America speaks, it should speak as a leader on this issue, and I'm proud that this administration is beginning to do so.